The combine harvester lurched to a stop as something massive slammed into the cornfield 50 yards ahead, sending stalks flying like broken bones. The impact crater still glowed with an otherworldly blue light when I reached it. And that's when I saw her. 8 feet of pale, luminescent skin and curves that defied human anatomy, with eyes like liquid starlight staring directly at me. She spoke without moving her lips, her voice echoing inside my skull. "You will do." Before I could process what was happening, her hand reached out and touched my chest, sending electricity through every nerve in my body. Her touch burned through my flannel shirt like acid, but the pain felt good somehow. Electric. She pulled her hand back, and I stumbled backward into the cornrows. "I am Zarath, last queen of the Veltari." Her voice still came from inside my head, vibrating through my bones. "My world dies. My people die. The males of my species can no longer reproduce." I wiped sweat from my forehead. The blue glow from the crater made everything look like a fever dream. "Lady, I don't know what you're talking about." She stepped out of the crater in one fluid motion. Her legs were longer than they should be, perfectly proportioned to her massive frame. "Your species carries genetic markers we require. I have searched 17 worlds. None were compatible. Compatible for what? To save my race, to continue the bloodline." She moved closer.
"I offer you a gift. Accept my power and transcend your mortal limitations."
The corn around us started dying, withering black from her presence.
"It is our destiny. The cosmos demands our survival."
She raised her hand, and the air above us shimmered like heat waves. A massive ship materialized out of nothing, hovering 30 feet over the cornfield. No sound, no wind, just there. "Come." She walked toward a beam of light that appeared beneath the ship. I followed because what else do you do when an 8-foot alien queen tells you to follow? The beam lifted us both like we weighed nothing. Inside the ship, everything pulsed with that same blue light. The walls breathed, actually breathed like living tissue. "This is the bonding chamber." She gestured to a circular room lined with crystalline growths that hummed with energy. "The process will merge our life forces. You will gain my longevity, my strength, but you will be bound to me forever." The crystals started glowing brighter as she moved around the room. They responded to her touch like pets. "Your simple life ends tonight?" She turned to face me. "There is no returning to your farm, no returning to being merely human." I looked at the alien technology surrounding me. My wife had been dead 2 years. The farm was failing. What did I have to lose? How long will I live? Millennia, perhaps longer. She touched one of the crystals, and it sang. "But first, you must survive the transformation." The crystals erupted with light, and my body caught fire from the inside out. Every cell screamed as something alien rewrote my DNA. I collapsed on the chamber floor, convulsing as my bones stretched and my muscles tore themselves apart and rebuilt stronger. Zarath knelt beside me, her massive hand on my forehead. "Do not fight it. Let the change happen." 3 days I burned. 3 days of agony as my human body died and something else took its place. My senses exploded. I could hear her heartbeat from across the room, smell the metal composition of the ship's hull, see electromagnetic fields dancing around the crystals. Blue veins appeared under my skin, pulsing in rhythm with hers. My strength increased until I accidentally crushed a crystal support beam with my bare hand. The metal crumpled like paper. Previous attempts with other species killed both participants. She helped me stand on shaking legs. 7 different worlds, 14 volunteers, all dead within hours. Through the transformation, visions flooded my mind. A dying planet covered in black crystalline structures. Cities of her people withering like the corn in my field. Children born sterile, their genetic code corrupted by some invisible plague. "Your world," I gasped between waves of pain. "I can see it dying." "The plague is not natural. It was designed, programmed into our genetics by our creators." She touched my chest where the blue veins converged. We were weapons, living weapons that outlived our purpose. When the pain finally stopped, Zarath showed me the truth. Her fingers touched my temple, and images flooded my mind like a broken dam. The Veltari hadn't evolved naturally. They were created in laboratories by beings, called the Void Wraiths, designed as perfect soldiers. living weapons with superhuman strength and psychic abilities to conquer worlds the Void Wraiths wanted to claim. We served them for millennia. Her voice carried centuries of pain, destroyed civilizations, harvested entire species for their experiments. But the Veltari had grown beyond their programming, so they activated the kill switch. She clenched her fists and the ship's walls pulsed darker. The plague was always inside us. Dormant genetic code designed to sterilize our race when we became too independent. I watched her people's final days through her memories. Cities falling silent, children dying in their mother's arms, the last desperate attempts to find a cure. You're not trying to save your species. I stood up on legs that felt too strong. You're trying to create an army. A hybrid race, strong enough to fight back against our creators. She moved closer. The Void Wraiths believe they destroyed us. They do not know I survived. Her plan became clear. Use human genetics to create something new, something the Void Wraiths couldn't control or kill. And if they find out, they will come for Earth. The ship's alarm started screaming 2 hours later. Red lights bathed everything in blood as Zareth rushed to a wall that became transparent at her touch. Black shapes moved through the clouds above my farm like hunting sharks. They found us! She spun around, her eyes wide with panic I hadn't seen before. The transformation process sent out psychic resonance. They followed it here. Through the transparent wall, I watched my farmhouse vaporize in a beam of white light. 40 years of memories turned to ash in seconds. The barn where I'd kissed my wife for the first time. Gone. We have to run. Zareth's hands flew over controls that appeared wherever she touched. Now! The ship lurched forward as more beams carved through the cornfield. We barely cleared the tree line when something massive slammed into our hull. Sparks erupted from the walls and Zareth cried out, green blood flowing from a gash on her forehead. I touched the wound without thinking. Blue light flowed from my fingers and the cut sealed itself. She stared at me in amazement. The bonding is accelerating. She pressed her hand against mine. Our life forces are linking faster than expected. Heat flooded through both of us. The ship's systems responded to our combined touch, moving faster than before. Behind us, the Void Wraith ships gave chase. In that moment of desperate intimacy, something changed between us. The bonding completed itself, and I felt her life spark inside me like a second heartbeat. She was pregnant. The pregnancy sent out a psychic beacon that lit up every Void Wraith sensor in the galaxy. Within hours, the sky above Earth turned black with their ships. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands. Their leader's voice boomed across every radio frequency on the planet. Surrender the hybrid carrier, and your species will be spared quick extinction. Zareth collapsed in the pilot's chair, her body already changing as the pregnancy accelerated. The conception was detected. They know what we've created. Through the ship's sensors, I watched cities around the world panic as the alien fleet descended. Military jets scrambled and were swatted from the sky like flies. The Void Wraiths weren't here to negotiate. There's something else. The leader's voice returned, colder now. The human called Jake stepped forward. My blood turned to ice. How did they know my name? Your transformation was anticipated. Humans were seeded throughout this galaxy as backup genetic material. Your entire species exists because we allowed it. The words hit like physical blows. Earth is a breeding farm. You are livestock. Zareth grabbed my arm. They're lying. But the leader continued. Every 100,000 years, we harvest genetic diversity from species like yours. The Veltari rebellion forced us to accelerate the schedule. I looked at Zareth, then at the thousands of ships surrounding our world. 7 billion people below us had no idea they were about to become specimens in an alien experiment. Choose quickly, Jake. Surrender now, or watch your species burn. I placed my hand on Zareth's swollen belly and felt the life growing inside. 2 heartbeats, twins. Their minds already active, already aware of the danger surrounding them. I won't surrender. I pressed my other hand against the ship's neural interface. But I won't fight them the way they expect. Power flowed through me like lightning. Not just my own strength, but something deeper. The psychic connection that linked me to Zareth expanded outward, reaching beyond the ship. beyond the atmosphere, down to every human mind on Earth. 7 billion people suddenly felt what I felt, saw what I saw. The truth about their origins, their purpose, their potential. "What are you doing?" Zareth gasped as energy crackled around us. "Waking them up." I pushed harder, feeling my consciousness stretch across continents. The Void Wraiths suppressed human psychic abilities for millennia, kept you all docile, manageable. Every person on Earth suddenly understood they weren't alone, weren't helpless. The collective awakening created a planetary defense network that the Void Wraiths had never encountered before. Their ships started falling from the sky as 7 billion minds pushed back in unison. But the effort was killing me. Blood poured from my nose as my brain tried to process the entire planet's consciousness. I could maintain the psychic shield or be present for my children's birth, not both. "Let go," Zareth whispered. "Let me handle this alone." "No." I gritted my teeth and held on. "We do this together." The twins were born as my consciousness nearly shattered from maintaining Earth's psychic shield. One appeared, completely human, tiny and pink and screaming. The other had Zareth's luminescent skin and oversized eyes that already tracked movement with impossible intelligence. But something was wrong. As I weakened from the psychic strain, both children began to glow. Not the blue light of Veltari technology. Something else entirely, something that existed between dimensions. The human-looking twin reached out and touched my hand. Instantly, the psychic burden lifted. The planetary shield didn't collapse. It transferred to them. "Impossible!" Zareth stared at our children in amazement. "They're maintaining the network themselves." Through the ship's sensors, I watched the remaining Void Wraith vessels retreat, not because they were defeated, because they were afraid. Their leader's final transmission echoed across all frequencies. "What have you created?" The twins looked at each other with ancient eyes and newborn faces. When they touched, reality rippled around them. They weren't just hybrid children. They were something evolution had been building toward for millions of years. The Veltari twin spoke without moving its lips, its voice somehow reaching every human mind on Earth simultaneously. "We are what comes next." The human twin added, "The Void Wraiths created us by accident. Trying to control evolution only accelerated it." I realized with growing terror and wonder that my children weren't bound by the same physical laws that govern the rest of us. They existed partially outside normal space-time. The Void Wraiths fled not in defeat, but in recognition that they had created their own replacements. 6 months later, I was learning to balance 2 impossible jobs: guardian of Earth's psychic awakening and father to children who aged like weeks were years. They already walked, talked, and occasionally made objects disappear into other dimensions when they got excited. The farm was gone, but Zareth had grown a new one from Veltari biotechnology. Corn that glowed softly at night and produced twice the yield. I still worked the land, but now other refugees from Void Wraith experiments helped with the harvest. Survivors from a dozen worlds who had found their way to our hidden colony. My daughter, the human-looking one we named Sarah, could communicate with every awakened mind on Earth simultaneously. My son, who looked like his mother and answered to Kai, manipulated space-time like it was clay. Yesterday I watched him fold reality so the cornfield existed in 17 dimensions at once. I realized immortality wasn't about living forever. It was about creating something that would outlive the very concept of death.